Hi guys, welcome back to Craftroom Chat. Today we are, well, by the title you know what we're talking about, but in general we are talking about 3 reasons why you lost your mojo and how do I get it back. So this is something that is so common in the crafty and artsy groups, especially here on YouTube. And there's a few reasons why, well, there are a lot of reasons why you could be losing your mojo, but these are the 3 most common that I see in myself and some other people. So let me go ahead and get into it, but first let me tell you that just in the background there's going to be just me coloring some little witch stamps just for, visual pleasure, and also, this is a good way for you to get your mojo back as well. It's just coloring. Alright, number 1. You are drowning in inspiration. If you find yourself, scrolling through Pinterest, pinning everything, or if you have a Facebook group that is constantly bombarding you with pictures of art or cards or just craft items in general, or even just watching too many YouTube videos and getting too many techniques just thrown at you, and then like maybe you're making a list or even just you feel overwhelmed by it, this is when you drown in inspiration. And this is kind of the number 1 reason why people are losing their mojo, because they feel like they don't have enough time to do all of these projects. So they just give up and they decide, well, I'll just keep pinning until I feel like I actually want to do something. Or keep looking on Facebook, or sometimes just buying items. Like, I'm just going to keep buying items until I feel inspired to go out and make a card. Which, now we're going to go into the how to get that back after you feel like you are drowning in inspiration. If you feel like you are buying too many products but not actually making anything, give yourself a budget. Like what the videos I just did, or the Dollar Tree challenge. I gave myself a budget. Well, I didn't technically give myself a budget. I just went to the Dollar Tree, which is a budget on itself. So I went to the Dollar Tree, gave myself, picked a few items, came back, made something with that. I didn't sit down and try and decide. I sat down, gave myself a timer. Well, with this one I didn't do the timer, but with Stash Dash I did. You can give yourself a timer and say to yourself, I'm going to make something within this realm of time. Whatever time limit you give yourself. With Stash Dash I did 10 minutes, I believe. Anything I can make in 10 minutes. So Stash Dash is an awesome way for you to use up your stash, get inspired to actually use those products. And then you can also do a challenge, like the Dollar Tree challenge, or, try and make one up. I always have a ton of challenges on my videos because I love to make them. And it also inspires you to kind of work within kind of a perimeter. You have to use something or you have to do something. So you're inspired to go ahead and do something with that, rather than having all of those options available to you. And also, if you set a timer of looking on Pinterest, like let's say, or on Facebook, the Facebook groups, say 10 minutes, you look at cards and all that kind of stuff. You put a list of all the techniques you want down, and then at the end of that 10 minutes, you have to make something out of that list, or something, inspired by it. That way you are not tempted to sit for hours upon hours looking through different cards and whatnot to, get inspiration, but then you end up uninspiring yourself by how much content is there. Alright, number 2. This is not taking care of yourself. This is one of the worst ways that you can lose your mojo. Because when you don't take care of yourself, that means you are going to cut yourself out completely of arts and crafts. Because that is always the first thing to go when you feel bummed, when you feel like, you know, you should be doing something else. It is the first to go. But in reality, arts and crafts is what you need. It is therapeutic. It will help you kind of sit down and relax. It will help you see the problem from another side. And also, it won't seem as big of a deal because you're working through it with something with your hands, which is kind of, for most of us, considering I'm talking to artists and crafters, this is how therapy is used for us. We use our hands. We make things. And then sometimes we can just rip them up if we have a problem. You know, or fussy cutting, you know, just cut it. Just cut it out of your life. But you can't cut arts and crafts out of your life because that's just going to make you more stressed, and that's not what you want. So if you want to take care of yourself, sit down, and you know, you don't even have to give yourself a time. Just let yourself relax, light a candle, and do some like adult coloring or just coloring in general. It is very therapeutic. And that will let you kind of de-stress and realize, you know, maybe there's another issue that I could be, you know, solving elsewhere. And, you know, you don't even have to finish the coloring or the project. Just let yourself kind of freeform. Just, you know, let it go. Let your emotions go until it needs to. Don't give yourself that time. If you have to stop and go to bed or something, then stop. And then make sure to come back if you feel the need. Because don't cut it out. You know, just give yourself, you know, 5 minutes even to just freeform, and then maybe do something that actually, you know, absolutely has to be done at that time. Then come back. Don't let those things override your arts and crafts, because that is what is keeping you sane. So take care of yourself. You know, go for a walk. You know, don't let your desk get too messy. You know, go ahead and clean it up. Take care of yourself, that you're sitting properly, you're using the right tools that will help you, which will be another video here soon. We'll see. But yes, take care of yourself. Relax. You know, it's not a big deal to make this huge project. Just take your therapy and roll with it. Alright, number 3, the last one, but not the least. So, sometimes we lose our mojo because we lose the sight of why we started crafting or arting in the first place. Most people begin arting in the first place because they love, you know, drawing. They love coloring. They love just feeling the materials on their hands. And they love creating for themselves, creating for someone else, like as a gift. You know, it's just, but then it's a great feeling to be crafting and arting. It is the root of your, like, just how you are. It's how you express yourself. It's a talent that, you know, it constantly needs loving and nurturing, which is, I find artists and crafters are so good at. And it's an easy medium because they're not going to talk back. So you can nurture and love it all you want, and then, you know, you don't get too much hurt from it. But sometimes we lose sight of why we started. Why are we doing it? Maybe it's because we are looking for more views. We're looking for more recognition. We are looking for praise. we are looking to make a profit from all of the materials that we buy because this is an expensive hobby. Sometimes we want to turn it into a profit. And that can, if you're not careful, that can flip. And you're going to be looking at a monster. You know, arts and crafts are not going to be your friend. You're going to want to stop. And you're only going to look at it as a job, essentially. Because when something turns into a job, you're not as willingly, practicing. You're not as willingly, just going to sit down and just color. Well, that sounds weird for a job anyways, but you're not going to practice as much. And that is what's so fun. Being able to get down in that dirt and, make something just to make it. Not being worried about what other people are going to say about it, which I find is some of the greatest videos for me. Because if I love it, then I think you guys are going to love it. Hopefully. If not, I love it. So, I love making it. And let me tell you, sometimes seeing other people succeed with their work does kind of bum you out, especially if you're not seeing that same recognition. So sometimes you get in the mindset of, oh, I need to work harder. I need to make sure all of my products are the same, that my videos are top notch, that nothing is out of place. And that's where it starts getting, you feel weight. Kind of like, the weight on your shoulders, the chip on your shoulder, kind of, you just feel it. Like you feel like you need to pull your weight. You need to get that money back because you spent so much on crafting and arting materials. And you need to prove to, your family or friends that you are good enough, that you art. It is your job. You are succeeding. But even if you make something that you love, that's gonna be arting. That is the whole purpose of why am I doing this? Why am I crafting? Well, guys, that's how you get your mojo back. You realize that you are good enough. You do not need to see other people recognize you. Which, yes, it is good. And everyone is good. But sometimes people aren't as gracious with their comments and their likes and whatnot. But don't lose your mojo over it. Because the best way to succeed in your own brain, because you don't have to prove anything to anybody, okay? Prove to yourself, which is practice. Practice, practice, practice. It's the major thing. Just keep arting, keep crafting, and that is going to keep your mojo alive. Because when you stop, you're going to take a hiatus, and that's not going to be good for your mojo. And not good for your art and crafting either. So, hopefully this gave you some insight into mojo and, getting it back, and maybe why it seems to follow you. I did kind of take this video a little bit longer, and I'm sorry, but, some things are needed to be said, gosh, just to encourage, and that's what Craftroom Chat is kind of about, is just encouraging people, encouraging you, encouraging me to keep crafting, keep arting, because this is what we love. So guys, thank you for joining me for another Craftroom Chat. I will see you in another video. Tomorrow will be the last week of the Doodlebug Fun in the Sun Challenge, so make sure to come back tomorrow for that. And I think that's all. So I hope you're having a crazy day, not too crazy, good crazy, not bad crazy, and I will see you in the next video. Bye guys!